Hey everyone, this is Leanne from Of Love and Shiplap and the founder of Sublimation Graphics and Tutorials here on Facebook. If you're joining us on YouTube, please be sure to come join our Facebook group where all of our videos air live before they're added to our YouTube channel unedited. And of course, if you're catching us live on Facebook, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Those links are in the video description depending on where you're watching. Tonight's tutorial is actually going to be really fun. It's using our iColor 550 white toner printer. We are going to be taking these glasses that I purchased at the Dollar Tree last night and turning them into a super cute his and hers holiday glass set. Now, what's really neat about what we're going to do tonight is we're going to be using the iColor Presto Hard Surface metallic media for ceramic glass and aluminum. It's available in silver, bronze, and gold metallic. And the best part is you don't actually need a white toner printer for this. You can use all of the Presto papers, including the ones for textiles, with any generic toner printer. This means that you can go to your local Walmart or Best Buy and pick up a laser printer for $100, $150 that prints letter size, and you can use that with these papers. Now, the hard surface ones only come in those metallic colors, but the ones for garments comes in a whole array. I think there's like 25 different colors. And if you like that layered color look that you get with vinyl, but are really tired of weeding, then this is an amazing solution for you. We will be doing a demo on the Presto for textiles very soon, but tonight we're just focusing on this hard surface one. I just tested it out for the first time today, and I'm honestly kind of in love with it. It was really cool, very easy to use. So I'll be using my iColor multi-mug press today as well. So you guys will get to see that in action, and I will of course walk you through the entire process. So let's turn this around, get our measurements, and go ahead and get started. Before we get going, we need to know what size we can even make our artwork. But even before that, one of the things that you need to make sure of anytime you're trying to use glassware that you're just picking up at the Dollar Tree, like I did with these, is that you actually have an attachment that can fit them, and how much space is it going to cover. So for something like this beer stein, it's actually, move a little closer for you. For something like this beer stein, it's perfectly cylindrical. The top diameter and the bottom diameter are the same. So this will fit into a regular mug press. I currently have my 11 to 15 ounce attachment on there, and if we slide that in and close it, it fits. We'll be able to tighten it to give it the tightness that we need, so that's great. We can also print this as big as the surface is because we can get a nice even placement in here. Items like this, or like the Scotch glasses that I did in a previous demo with hard surface premium paper, are ones that you really have to watch out for. So this champagne flute has a bevel right here. It's a little hard to see in the video, but wine glasses are like this too, where they have what's considered a double bevel. So it bevels this way, and then it's also beveling around that curve. So this can make it a little bit tricky when you're trying to figure out if you can actually apply white toner to something. In this case, we're only going to be able to put our design in this region. Once the glass starts to curve right here, that's not going to work. So I'm actually going to use, I think this is the 2.5 ounce attachment. And if I slide this in here and just hold it closed, what I want to be looking for is if this was being closed and pressure was on it, do I have pressure where my glass is completely flush with the edge of the heating element? And am I going to be able to get pressure right to that bevel? So the bevel is, whoa, that would have been bad. The bevel starts right here, and you can see sort of, if you look in there, that I do have even hold right up to that point. So that means I should be able to put my design on there to that size. It's always a trial and error process. White toner requires you to use a mug press or a flat press. This isn't something that you can vacuum seal or use shrink wrap. It's not the same as other types of printing. You do need to be mindful of that. So this can make it a little bit tricky for certain types of glassware. Things like perfectly even beer steins, great idea. Things like wine glasses and champagne flutes, be prepared for limited print space. So let's go ahead and get those measurements here. I'm just going to line that up on the top of the glass and right down to that bevel. So that bevel starts at 2.5 inches. And in terms of going around, I'm probably not going to want to go any more than 2 inches. 2 inches, you know, just kind of eyeballing it. 2 inches is going to be about the max I can get for the width on that one. And then here, again, technically we could go 6 inches on a design. But then around the front, we're looking at a max of 3 inches. So I'll probably go a little bit smaller on this than 3 inches, just, you know, to make my life easier. But that's, again, just kind of a visual. You're looking at it saying, what size do I think that design should be? What's going to look best for that? So as soon as you're sure that everything fits in your heating elements and whatnot, we can go ahead and set up our design and size it to print. Before we bring our project into the iColor ProRIP software, I'm going to set it up in Affinity Designer. Affinity Designer is my preferred graphic design software, but you can use any graphic design program that you prefer. Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Corel, Inkscape, GIMP, they're all great programs to choose from. My preferred is always Affinity Designer. The reason why I'm setting up my document over there is because we're only going to be printing this design 2.5 inches to 2 inches. So we don't want to end up wasting a lot of our page. I want to create duplicates and have them nicely spaced out on my page so that they will be easy to cut. You can duplicate and nest a graphic on one page within the ProRIP software, but there isn't the ability to align all your columns perfectly or create even spacing. This is because the ProRIP software is not a graphic design software. It is strictly for helping you get your document set up to print with some minor editing and sending it off to the printer with the settings that will give you the best results for the cue that you're using and the paper that you're using. So I make it easy for myself by just setting up an Affinity Designer. So we'll go ahead and click on that. I will go to File, New, select my Print tab, choose a letter size page, and set my color format to CMYK/8. Then I'll go ahead and hit Create. If you are not good with margins, you can also choose to go to Document Setup and check the box to include margins, and then you can just manually enter them in or select Retrieve from Printer if your printer is already plugged in. Next, we'll import our graphic by simply clicking on the Place Image tool, and I'm going to pull up the SVG format that is available here. Click and drag just to get it resized onto my page, and then come down to our transform panel and set in the measurements for our design based on what we got when we measured our drinkware. So because this design is square, I'm going to need to focus on the width as my maximum size. So for the beer stein, that means that we're going to have to stick with 2.5 inches. And then we can simply right click and duplicate. And for the champagne flute, we're going to have to stick with 2 inches. So these are going to be fairly small designs. I'm just going to move my first one up, and I think this one I can fit over on the other side. And I will select that one again and right click and duplicate and bring it here into the middle. Now I want to have these spaced out as evenly as I can. I can even nudge this one a little bit closer to that edge. So I'm going to click and drag to select all three, come up to my alignment panel, choose the option to space horizontally, and you'll notice that they now are evenly distributed. And I'm also going to choose the option to align middle vertically, just so everything is in a straight line. And then I'm going to hit Apply. Now I can go ahead and duplicate this, I think 2 more times. So we will right click and duplicate and drag that down. And then right click and duplicate again, or use Control or Command J and drag that on down. I do actually want these to all be centered. So I'm going to click and drag. Actually, sorry, first I'm going to duplicate this. So click on your layers panel and duplicate so that I can put 3 of them down here on the bottom. Then I'll click and drag each group and right click and select group. And then with that bottom one, I will duplicate that 3 times so that it'll fit there. And go ahead and select all 3, come to my alignment panel, space horizontally, make sure I have them aligned on the vertical axis, and hit apply, and then group those as well. Select all of my layers by clicking and dragging across them, choosing the align center function, which can also be found under your alignment panel, and then choosing the space vertical function to make sure they're evenly spaced. So this is giving me that nice even spacing that'll make these easy to cut, and honestly will maximize the use of our page. And I just really like when things are nice and perfectly spaced. So just my personal preference. Once you're ready, you can go to File, Export, and then you can choose to either do a PNG or a PDF as your file type. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. I'm going to go with my PNG file and just hit save. Over here in our ProRIP software, the very first thing that we always do is select the cue that we plan to print with. That's going to be our CMYK cue. You'll notice then at the bottom that it lets us know we need to swap out our white toner cartridge for the key or black toner cartridge so that that will be in the front for the printing with this mode. Next, we'll come to our drop down in our cue and we will select the paper type we're going to be using. I am using the Presto Hard Surface for ceramic and glass. So that was the Presto Hard Surface that's here versus the other one that's for wood and paper. So go ahead and select that. Now, the instructions are often updated based on updates to the ProRIP software in terms of what settings you should be following. It's always a good idea if you haven't used a paper in a while to come over to the iColor website, click on that support tab, and you'll be able to find the most recent instructions listed for all the different media types and all of the different equipment. I already pulled up the Presto Metallic one so that I could reference it, and I'm glad that I did because my paper has the old, or my instructions with my media has the old instructions, which says it should be the coated glossy setting, but you'll see here it says that it's actually been updated to thick 2 to 1/6, no, sorry, it's updated to labels. I have the iColor 550. So when we come over to our ProRIP software, we can double check that this says labels, input tray is the bypass tray, and our size is 8.5 by 11. Let's go ahead and import our graphic by clicking on the green plus sign at the top, picking that file, and it should import it at exactly the size of our workspace, which will make things very easy to send this off to print. So there's just 2 things we have left to do. The first is to come to our job tab and make sure we select mirror, since we'll be putting in this on the front of something and we want to make sure that it prints correctly for that application. And then the second is going to be to come to the color adjust tab and make sure that our black is pushed all the way up and that we have max ink selected as well. And then we'll hit OK. Just like that, we are ready to print. So all we need to do is click on our little rainbow printer to send our print to our iColor 550 printer. Our instructions let us know that we're going to be using the bypass tray, which is this one that pulls out on the front. and that our print side is the color side of our Presto Hard Surface media. So I will go ahead and slide that right on into our paper tray and go ahead and select that print option. And it'll take just a minute to warm up and spool the job and pull it through to print it. There you have the print. Try and show it to you guys up close there. So the way that this works is that when we put it on there, the toner is going to only adhere, it's only going to adhere to the glass where the toner is, and we'll have this gold foil appearance onto our glasses. So let's go ahead and move over to our mug press. Now the instructions have a rubric on them that lets you know the time, pressure, and about peeling based on the different press that you're using and also the different material. What's really important to understand about glass is that not all glass is going to be tempered and be able to withstand the heat, especially for 180 seconds. That's 3 minutes. So that can seem like kind of a long time in the world of glass. So thicker glass often it does pretty well. And these are really good quality glasses. They're not like cheap, fine china type of glasses. They actually are pretty durable and sturdy. So you always want to make sure that you do in fact have it into your press, fitting accordingly. And it says firm pressure. Now you want your firm to be firm, but not be extra firm. If you have it extra firm, you risk the glass breaking. I promise you that if you are new to doing all of this in a mug press, it will absolutely take some trial and error. I know I have broken many glasses in my trial and error trying to determine that. I'm using the iColor mug press. It has, I think, 7 attachments. So this is the 15-ounce one. I have the 20-ounce one. It's not for skinny tumblers. It's for like 20-ounce steins like this. So I have the 20-ounce one, the 6 to 10-ounce one, and then this one I believe is 2.5 ounces that we're going to use on the champagne flute one. And then I have the latte attachments for pint glasses and tapered shot glasses that are the 3 that are available for that. And it automatically comes with the 11 to 15 ounce attachment, which I use all the time for coffee mugs. You can order the mug press and all the attachments that you would like at icolorprint.com, and you can use the code SUBTHAT to save 5%. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to use my paper cutter to cut some of our designs. That beeping noise is a safety feature of the mug press to let us know that it's on. All right. So we'll go ahead and take one of our prints, decide which side we want to put it on. This is actually a little warm, so I'll give that another second here. You're going to need heat tape as well. All right, so a little trick when you're doing glassware like this is to actually align it on the back. This will make it so that you can actually see where it is and try and get it lined up to where you would like it. I'm just going to go ahead and put some tape on there so that once I get it in place, I will be good to go. And you do have to actually like look through the glass. So currently I'm below the camera. Although since this is the top part of the paper, I can just line that up there and slide it right on. Okay. Once you're ready, you just go ahead and slide it on into your mug press. A little quirk about this mug press is before you put anything in, you want to actually hit the start button. So this is our start button. I'm going to hit that and very quickly slide this in and close. The reason why is because the timer will not actually start until it's at temp. And anytime you put a substrate in your heat press, it loses temp. So that's a little quirk with this. So the workaround is that right before you put it in, you push the start button, it'll start timing down. I promise it'll be fine. So this will take about 3 minutes. It's always good to just double check on your side, make sure you got nice even pressure, which we do. So this transfer should go well. It's my hope, at least. And we can actually get our champagne flute lined up as well while that is going. And we're going to be following the same steps, except we want to be mindful of that bevel. So we can put it here. I'm actually just going to trim off the top part of this. And then go ahead and get some tape there. And same thing, we're looking at it from the other side, being very mindful of that bevel, which is starting right here where my finger is, so we're perfect. I just aligned with the top of the glass, and that is all that we needed. So it looks like we got 79 seconds left there, and then of course we'll have to change out our heating element, which that's very easy to do if you're not. So this is a really great media to use for holiday items like this, great for weddings. Of course, since Christmas is coming up, that's kind of where my mind was at. So I thought that this his and hers glass set was a great idea. The Presto Hard Surface media for glass, ceramic and metal is $1.60 per sheet. And we could get 5 total sets from what we printed. So 5 total sets, if we sold them for $15 to $20 per set, which is a very valid price point, especially if you put it in a nice little gift box, we are making some pretty good money there. I didn't actually do the math, but you figure this is $2-3 max in your cost. So you're going to make $12 to $17 per set for these. And if you gift box them, it's just a great little item, especially for newlyweds. Great little Christmas gifts. We hit that little button to stop it. Now this has to be cold before we peel it, so I'm just gonna put it over there out of the way. And we do want to make sure that we turn our mug press off before we change out our heating element. So changing out our heating element is very easy. We're just gonna unscrew these little screws. And then there's a little ring here. We just pull that out, and then you just wiggle out the cord and oops, there we go. A little harder around the tripod. Also while it's hot. I don't usually change it while it's hot. All right, and then we'll go ahead and put that in there. Get those in there. Put our little screws back in. All right, putting screws back in with gloves on is a little difficult, but these actually aren't hot, so I will definitely make sure that your heating element is in all the way. There we go. I was not in all the way. All right. And last, we just check our holes. There's like a little notch there that goes on the bottom. Make sure we're pushed all the way in. Tighten that. And before we turn it on, we are going to go ahead and slide in our champagne flute and make sure that we've got our good even pressure. Make sure that we have it tight enough. Again, we're going for firm pressure, but being cautious that we're not so firm that we might risk breaking it. That might be a little too firm, so I'm going to bring it back just a half a turn. Okay, and you always want to double check again. I know it's a little hard to see in the video, but you want to make sure that you do have flush here, and look on the side and make sure you've got your heating element flush to that glass there as well. This is one of the most important things when it comes to using any hard surface paper on glassware that isn't something that's already prepared to be used in a mug press, so that you can ensure you get the best results. So go ahead and take that out of there right now, and we'll turn our press back on. It'll take just a minute to warm up that heating element. I'm just gonna see how my beer stein feels. Still pretty hot. Hopefully by the time we're done, it will actually be done. But if not, I did already do a practice one. So I haven't peeled the practice one yet, but I will do that if this one doesn't cool down in time. I do notice glass takes quite a bit of time to cool completely, unfortunately. This mug press heats up really quickly. It's a great value. It's a great multi-press. Like I said, I think it has 7 attachments. Since we got a minute. So I've got, this is for pint glasses. This one is for 12-ounce latte-shaped coffee mugs or glasses. Or sorry, 6-ounce. And then this one is the 2.5 for like shot glasses. And then that's the 11 by 15 ounce that comes in the press. And then currently we have the 2.5 ounce one in there. And then I also have the 6 ounce one. But oh, here we go. So I've got the 6 to 10 ounce attachment and then the 20 ounce attachment. Again, not big enough for the skinny tumblers, but big enough for other 20 ounce items. So 7 attachments you can get total for this. I have purchased them all just because it just opens up possibilities for all the glassware that I want to do. So this is just about to our 320 degrees. Again, you're following this rubric that's here for your time and temp. And since we already have adjusted our pressure, we'll go ahead and hit that start button, slide that on in, close that, and let it count on down. We do have to peel this cold. That's why I did an extra one beforehand, since I knew it would probably take, 15, 20 minutes before these would be completely cool. But you'll see that depending on your substrate, there is different recommendations for how to peel it. The instructions that come with all of your iColor media are so detailed. Honestly, If you just follow the instructions, it's almost impossible to mess things up. A little bit of trial and error with things like using drinkware that came from the Dollar Tree. But aside from that, they really do a great job making it so that you can feel totally confident in what you're doing, provided you're actually following the directions, and of course, being mindful of your specific equipment, because the instructions are written based on their equipment, things like Stahl's Fusion IQ heat press, this particular mug press. So when you're using other items like my EnduraPress SD20 heat press, you need to be mindful of the trial and error that you might have to go through there. But when you really focus on the details, it does make it a lot easier. Things like when you have to marry A and B paper for two-step textile paper, you know that too much pressure will cause the adhesive to ooze out around the edges and through holes and stuff in your design. So if you see that, you know that you need to loosen your pressure a little bit, but you still need it to be firm. You can use the paper test that I've shown in other videos to make sure that your pressure is right. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, sometimes you need to know if your heat press is running a little hotter, like mine runs hotter. So I have to compensate that by lowering the temperature, making sure that, your humidity is right. Like there's a lot of little variables that make a really big difference, but if you actually pay attention to all the advice that's given, the information in the White Toner Masterclass that's available through iColor, and just in the instructions in general, I promise you, you guys can totally do this. This machine is not nearly as intimidating as it might seem. So we got just about 30 seconds here. Go ahead and get my glove on. And to stop our timer when we're getting down to the countdown here, we just push that little square button. Otherwise it makes that beeping noise until you do. All right. So we'll go ahead and set that there for right now. We can actually turn this off and we'll let these cool. But I'm going to give them just a few seconds, and if the beer stein's not ready, I'm going to grab those other ones that I got from earlier. Okay, our glasses are still too warm to peel, so I'm just going to grab the two that I did earlier. And I know it's a little hard with that glare. Let's kind of move that light. Here is our final result. Of our his and hers holiday glasses. I was actually really impressed at how these came out. It was so easy. Just a quick tip. I did find that it was a little difficult to get the paper off, but if you soak it under some cold water, that helped make it so that the paper could peel right off. You can use rubbing alcohol to clean off any residue. I think I got it all. There were a few little flakes of, there's actually a little piece right there. There was a few flakes of the gold that wasn't bonded because it wasn't hit with toner. It was just left over from the paper. But yeah, soaking them in a little bit of cool water helped me get the paper right off. And it does say cold. It means cold. I have had mine sitting out for quite a while now. But if I was in a rush, I probably would have put them in the refrigerator once they cooled down quite a bit, but were still warm. Definitely make sure it's actually cool. It'll make the paper come off a lot easier. So that is your his and hers holiday glasses using the iColor 550 with the Presto metallic hard surface for ceramics, glass, and aluminum. Honestly, really easy to do, highly profitable, perfect way to use some Dollar Tree drinkware. Move that so you can get a little bit better. Sorry, the lighting's a little harsh in here. But like I said, really profitable gift set. Great to push for the holidays. These glasses came from Dollar Tree. So honestly, $3 in for your total cost. Retail at $15 to $20 if you happen to package them up nice in a little gift box. You can't beat it. A great item. These are hand wash only. That's the only other thing I want to make sure to tell you guys. But unlike vinyl, this isn't going to like scrape off or anything. It doesn't even come off with my nail. So just keep that in mind in your care instructions that you should put hand wash only. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and have a great rest of your evening.